Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the No Plastic July campaign from Astu Eco. This is Anita Shankar, founder of Astu Eco, and today we're on the topic of reuse, and we're talking of something that's really important personally to me and to the campaign as a whole, the menstrual cup. Looking at menstrual hygiene, we're going to have another talk that's coming up for the cloth pads, but in this session we're going to talk about the menstrual cup and what are the fears around it, the myths around it, are there people who really adopted it, and why should we do that, right? So the menstrual cup has been there for a really long time. Most of us don't know of it. We've just heard of it very recently, but it started in the 1930s back in the US, got popularized in 1970s again there. In India, from the past couple of decades, it's been around, but only in the past 5 years are we hearing a lot more about it from the media and a lot of startups coming in that space. Why should we look at using the menstrual cup, right? So literally half the world, that is 3.5 billion people, are menstruators, and each single menstruator will leave behind anywhere between 5,000 to 15,000 tampons and pads in their lifetime. So you can imagine the mountain of plastic waste that we leave behind as menstrual waste. And especially since this goes under the category of medical waste, there's very little research and information available on how much of it is there in landfills and oceans, but we do know that this is a serious environmental challenge. And this No Plastic July campaign, we want to see how we can bust this issues and problems that people have around adopting the menstrual cup. I'm very excited to introduce to you Nivedita, hi, and Hina, hi. So Nivedita is just going to turn 20 very soon, and she has successfully started using the menstrual cup. She's transitioned into a more sustainable menstrual hygiene, and we have Hina here, who's her mother, and just like me, from people from my generation who still have a few questions and queries before they take the plunge into the menstrual cup. So today we're going to bust some myths and see how we can all start looking at adopting a more sustainable menstrual hygiene. Nivu, hi. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, so as you said, I'm almost turning 20, and I am going to college this September, and I'm planning to study women and gender studies and studio art, and I'm incredibly excited about that.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And Hina, can you tell me a little about yourself?
Hi, I'm Hina. I am an artist and a homemaker, and I've been over the last year I've been thinking more and more about how much we consume and how much waste we produce. It has been constantly going on in the mind, but while in the pandemic, when we sat at home, I think I went through a lot more questioning, and one of the things which I wanted to switch to was a menstrual cup, because I did not want to continue to use tampons and add to the waste.
So are you currently using, what is it that you're using currently for your menstruation?
I am using tampons currently and slowly switching to the cup. I have used the cups before a few years ago, and I started having severe backaches whenever I used it, and so I tried it out for a few months and then I stopped it. And recently my daughter Nivedita started using it again. And looking at her, I got inspired to reintroduce that to my monthly routine and switch over to using the cups. So she has been very inspiring for me.
Awesome. So definitely the spotlight is on you, Nivedita. We want to hear more. So if I may just go back a little bit, you're going to turn 20. That means you've been menstruating for the past 10 to 12 years. What have you been using all these years?
I started out using pads, and I used pads for almost 10 years, and it was this year in Jan of 2021 that I first used the menstrual cup, and I have loved it so much since then.
Awesome, awesome. You've literally adopted the menstrual cup without talking to too many people, is what I heard. You know, you did your own research. You had your school to help you. Tell us a little bit more. How did you transition into something like this? Because even today, I'm quite sure there are a lot of people who still have fears. But there is a lot of questions that people do have in terms of the menstrual cup. How come you made that transition so smoothly?
Well, I used pads, like I said, for 10 years, and I would generate so much waste at the end of the month, end of the week when I finished my period, and I hated the sight of it, and it filled me with dread to think about the fact that over the next 40 years I will be menstruating and I will be producing so much waste every month, and I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
And the using pads was just uncomfortable for me. I didn't like the fact that it would give me rashes, and I didn't like the smell and the use of plastic. It didn't sit comfortable in my mind, and so I really wanted to switch to a more sustainable product.
Can you just show us the cup? The menstrual
this
cup?
is the menstrual cup.
Okay.
And I think there was a rise in discourse over the past few years, and there was a lot more awareness about sustainability and climate change.
You're from the Valley School, right? So obviously I think a lot of schools are also taking these initiatives on menstrual hygiene and talking about these products for helping students to transition. So definitely it looks like the talks in the schools for you has been a critical component of helping you move, which is probably what we missed out as older generation. Go on.
So there was a lot of discourse around more sustainable menstrual hygiene especially, and one of the things that did come up was the cup, and I really wanted to switch over.
So what do you think were the three most important hurdles that you crossed over and while you had to adopt this?
My three most important hurdles, mine and what I see other people feeling, is one, getting comfortable with your body and being comfortable exploring it, touching it, because it is like a no place. It's your private parts, don't talk about it.
You think in your generation also it's still the same?
Yeah.
You feel that the girls are yet to still get comfortable with their own bodies and explore, not for any other reason but to just understand how it is we are and what is it that happens with us.
Yeah.
So you still think there's uncomfortable conversations, if at all, that happen, and most often may not happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like at home it was really comfortable for me to talk about it, because there was
I see a sigh of relief from the mother that she's made a positive difference to her. Okay.
Because we do come from a family of doctors, and your body is your body, and I talked about my period to my brother from when he was the age of 6. He knows everything that he can know about it at this moment. I've given him like the full rundown. So it was really comfortable for me to talk to it.
So that's also an important part,
Yeah.
right? One is to just talk to your own girlfriends, but it's also, I think nowadays the boys are also much more aware, they're more empathetic, they're more understanding, which is also a critical
Yeah.
part of how we can move on in this space of becoming more sustainable.
Another thing is the size of the cup. I feel like it is a little bit daunting. It looks...
It is. I mean, it's quite big. So I think that is probably one of my own fears, because I have been wanting to shift and I have just managed only to go till the cloth pads and not successfully move to... Tell me a little bit more. How will you make the viewers more comfortable if I have to use that in my body?
I feel like something that everyone should be aware of is the size of the vaginal opening. At like resting position, so to say, it is around 1 to 2 centimeters wide, the
Okay.
vaginal opening, and a person who has given birth, a child's head is around 10 centimeters in diameter, like that
Right,
big.
right.
And it does come out as a vagina.
I know,
And-
but you know what? Most women nowadays go in for cesarean section, C-section, right? So might not have even gone through that, and probably that could be one of the fears. But you're saying, as a youngster who's not even hit 20,
Yeah.
you've managed to do that. Where and so it must be much more simpler for people who are married and who've had sexual intercourse and have childbirth. Awesome. Okay.
And I think it's just an important number to keep in your mind, that your vagina is capable of stretching. It is a muscle,
Okay.
and so it does open, it does stretch, and it can easily fit. Obviously, it doesn't go in directly like this. You do have to fold it either like this,
Right.
or as I prefer to fold it like this.
Right.
You just insert your thumb,
Right.
fold it, and insert it like that.
Right.
And so I feel like that is a big hurdle that a lot of young people and even older women have to overcome, because you just don't know how your body works.
Right.
It is not a body part that is discussed in your biology class. It is not a body part that you discuss with your parents or your grandparents or your friends. It's like a hush-hush part. So it's just getting to know how this part of your body works. And
So I think that's a good start that we have here, because we're definitely getting to know a lot more about our body talking to you. Tell me another thing. So this is going to be inside me for, let's say, 3 to 5 days. Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Do you feel that there's something inside? Do you even realize there's something there?
I feel like the first few times that you do use it, you do feel it.
Okay.
My vaginal opening did feel sore the first few times, but like I said, it's a muscle, it's used to stretching, and after a while you just don't feel it. I'm wearing it right now, I don't feel it at all.
What about leaks, which is a big problem
Yeah.
with the normal pads and other things, because it's always so stressful that you're leaking and you're leaving marks behind, like some tiger trying to mark its territory. So this doesn't happen with this at all?
No, so what happens is the cup, it forms suction inside, and so it is incapable of leaking unless it overflows.
Okay.
Or if, like, it's very rare, but you can move around a little bit and it can get dislodged. The
Right.
suction can
Right. But can you make out when something like that happens? So can you make out
Yeah.
when it's full?
yeah, you can make it out. You will feel it moving around a little
So
bit
you just
inside.
pull it out and empty it and stick it back
Yeah.
in and go around doing your stuff
Yeah.
like every day. And you can do sports, you can jump around, you can
Anything.
do anything. Nothing is a problem. I don't have to keep checking my butt in the back in a
Yeah.
mirror. Don't have to ask my friend, hey, is it okay? Nothing. You're saying it's absolutely fine. I
It's
love
absolutely
it. It's
fine.
amazing. So tell me, that's the second one you had as a hurdle in terms of figuring out how to use this in the right way. What's the third challenge? Third hurdle.
Yeah, I
Getting
think
used to
it is a little bit stressful the first time, like I said, because you are uncomfortable with your body. And so I feel like a lot of people buy a cup, they try it out, and then they get so tensed, and your vagina is a muscle and it will tighten and you will not be able to insert it, or if you insert it you won't be able to remove it.
Oh, so you're saying you just be relaxed, then
Yeah.
your body will assist you with this whole thing much better. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in the bathroom for half an hour trying to figure out how to insert it, to remove it, and I just gave myself the time, told myself to relax, and I know that it has worked successfully for so many other people, and like statistically it has worked for more people than it hasn't worked for.
Okay.
And so I know that it will work for me if
Awesome.
I'm chill about it.
Awesome. So that's great. I got the three critical things that you said you worked around to make sure you adopt this. One was, of course, understanding your body better. Two was understanding the menstrual cup itself better, and three, just giving it time, just relaxing into it and giving it time. And what I hear you say is no leakage, no problem, no pains. It's absolutely fine and cheap. And you know what? You have saved more than 15,000 pads just by you using this menstrual cup. So that's awesome. Thank you. Stay on. Let's now move to a more interesting topic. Hina, you and me are kind of in the same boat. I'm yet to transition into the cup. Definitely one of my fears has been having a foreign body inserted into me, and I am feeling so much braver today. I am definitely going to go back and try that, because Nivu has been amazing in terms of explaining how it is more a mental barrier than a real one. Tell me a little bit more about how do you plan to do this?
A few years ago, a few of my friends in the apartment where I live decided to switch, and one of them placed an order for all of us, and that's how I landed up getting into wearing these. And what she ordered was this cup for me, which is a size medium. And when I tried this on, I tried it on for 3 months, but my experience was every time I used it, I used to get severe back pain, which was something which I didn't have when I was menstruating before. And I realized when the moment I removed it, the pain used to stop, and I went back to tampons because I was not able to continue wearing it. But the friends with whom I started out, they all switched successfully, and they were very happy with their experience. I wondered about mine, but I did not think much about it. And recently, when Nivedita got into wearing menstrual cups, I started re-looking at my experience, and I realized probably I was wearing a size wrong. Maybe I should try a size smaller than this, because I also bleed a little lesser. Now as I have gotten into my 40s, I bleed less, so I thought, why not try a smaller one? So I switched to a smaller size cup. This is the medium size cup, this is a smaller size cup. You do get extra small also. Figure out for yourself. There are also ways to know how big your vagina can accommodate one.
So one of the most important thing is to understand the right size for your body. So I recollect having this conversation with Nivu on this. Nivu, can you tell me, how do I figure out what is the size that I should wear?
Yeah, so there are a few different things that you need to look at. One is your age and whether you have given birth or had a child. And if you haven't had a child, then your vaginal opening is still small, and your uterus is still, everything is still small. The moment you have a child, the moment especially if you give birth, your vaginal opening does become bigger. And then another really important thing is the height of your cervix. The blood in your uterus comes out through the cervix into the vagina and out of the vagina. So the cervix can hang low in your vagina or high in your vagina, and so this sort of a cup would be for someone who has a cervix that is placed higher. This would be for someone who has a cervix placed lower in their vagina. And
so how do I make out what is where is it placed? How do I find out? So do I just order 3 different sizes and figure out, or do I already know what is my size, and what do I do?
You have to insert your finger into your vagina, and you can calculate how much of your finger goes in.
So it should touch, if it touches the wall inside, that is where I stop and understand what is the length.
You need to insert your finger, and your cervix feels sort of like the edge of your nose over here. There's a little depression on the inside. On Amazon, on Flipkart, you will find sizing guides. They will tell you how long it is, how wide it is, the size of the stem. The stem helps you pull it out if it's buried a little bit deeper in. And so you will find all the dimensions. So you just need to figure out what the dimensions of your body are, and then you can find a cup that works for you. Sometimes it does take a few tries. You might need to try a couple of cups. The first one that you buy doesn't always work, and it's just a process of trial and error. But in the long run, you are saving so much money, and producing so much less waste.
Awesome. So I'm gonna zoom back to Hina here. Hina, when you first tried it and you had your back pain, that was primarily because of the wrong size of the cup. So how did you figure that it was a wrong cup, and how did you now move to the right size?
I can't remember right now how I arrived at it, but because I bleed less, I thought to myself, maybe if I can switch to a smaller size, it would help me better.
Okay.
And I ordered a smaller size for myself. And when I did that, I had to read the booklet which came along with it, and it mentioned that you don't insert it as deep as you insert a tampon. And when I read that, I think it kind of it made me realize that probably what I was doing wrong with the first time that I tried it was two things, which was maybe I did have a wrong size, and I also was inserting it a little deeper than required because this sits lower than a tampon. So when I switched to this one, I haven't switched completely to the cup. I still use a tampon, but I have started again, and I'm giving some time to it. I want to do it, and I want to switch successfully, and I'm in the middle of it right now.
So what you have done is, let's say the first day and the last day you're still trying to use the cup, but you're not, and then getting used to it. So over an extended period of, let's say 3 to 6 months, you will completely switch over. So you've currently gotten back into using this, but just for a little bit of time, just to make sure you're comfortable, you're not getting that damn back pain again. And are you getting the pain again with the cup?
No, I'm not. I'm conscious about wearing it slightly lower.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting the back pain while wearing it.
Super. So like how Nivu also said, one of the 3 things that we should remember is just give it time and go easy. Try it first, for a couple of hours in a day, and then extend it, and then we should be good to go with it, because then you're comfortable with this in your body. Awesome. And I recollect you wanted to share another very important tip with us, Hina.
First and foremost, you should not wear it too deep. And if this sticks out of your vaginal opening, you can just snip it off so that it doesn't irritate you.
So how do you know if I've put it too deep? Because it'll automatically just sit on my wall and come down, right?
Yeah, but sometimes you have a tendency to just push it further because you don't want to feel the friction. So I push it further. That is what I think I used to do. I used to push it further because I didn't want to feel the friction. So if this is sitting comfortably inside, you won't feel it. And if you're feeling this outside, then you should just snip it off because even a little bit is enough for you to be able to pull it out.
So that's got no hole in it, right? It's just a solid pipe that's just to hold it and pull it down.
Yeah, just to pull it
out. So even
out.
if you snip off a little bit of it, there's no problem.
No.
It's
So
just
I did that over here. This is cut off. I don't know if you can make it out, but this has been cut off. I cut off this. This was also longer, and I cut it off because this also caused the same problem. It gave me irritation.
I'm definitely going to give it a shot very soon. Right now I'm going to place an order for this, and this one space has been the most toughest for me. I remember talking to my other friends, entrepreneurs who are in this space of making menstrual cups, and I was saying, I need to talk to you, I need to get over this fear, I need to help myself jump into this, and that is why I find this session really important, because someone as young as Nivedita here has managed to move so smoothly and transition into that, and she's now my inspiration. And plus I have Hina here, who's had similar trials like mine, and did find some problems with having used the cup, but now has again come back with renewed vigor to come back into using this. For a parting shot, I want to know from you guys, I'll go with Nivu first. Tell me, what is it that you want to tell all our viewers? What are the 3 things that you want them to remember from after seeing this?
I think one is get to know your body. It is you should know any part of your body. Every part of your body should be familiar to you. So you should know your vagina as well as you know your hand or your feet or your nose or your cheeks. And so get familiar with your body, get comfortable touching it, knowing that it exists, talking to other people about it. Something else that I would recommend that you do is talk to other people, find out if other people do use menstrual cups, talk to an adult who has switched to it, talk to your peers. Something that really helped for me was to do research. I love doing research, and so I watched as many videos on YouTube as I could, heard about other people's experience. That made me really comfortable. Take horror stories with a huge spoon of salt, because majority of people who do use menstrual cups find it really comfortable and do switch comfortably, and horror stories are a very small percentage. And so there are some people who might have made mistakes, or it may not just work for them, and you shouldn't be scared because it hasn't worked for someone else to try it out yourself. Another thing that you should keep in mind, especially if you you are young and have not had sex yet, virginity is a myth. The hymen, the whole thing related to that, again, a myth. Virginity is only saying whether you have had sex or not. I have tried chocolate, I have not tried chocolate. I have had sex, I have not had sex. So virginity is a myth. The hymen is a tissue that is in your vagina, and for most people it may break when they are really young. Say you are running around or just not doing anything, it could break during that time. For some people it absolutely does not break, it just stretches, and so you don't have to have any fears about using a menstrual cup if you have not had sex yet. So don't be afraid about that.
I think that's an absolutely most important point, because that's probably one of the fears that even parents might have. What happens if I push it too deep and my baby girl's hymen breaks, and would she not be a virgin anymore? Thank you for that. That's a really critical point. And you saying I like the way you say that it's bullshit, virginity and stuff like that. That's the way to go with the Gen Zee-ers. But what you're saying is nothing will happen even if your hymen breaks, because we know that a lot of sports people have their hymens which goes away much younger days, and it's got nothing to do with their virginity, and using this will not hamper your life or your quote-unquote virginity in any way. So go for it, don't have a fear on that. Awesome. And Hina,
Be patient with yourself, unlearn, get out of the conditioning. This is highly recommended, not just for you but also for the environment. For the youngsters out there, please encourage your mothers and your aunts to try this. Sit down with them, talk with them, research, as how Nivedita said, research along with them, so they are open to giving it a shot. And for my peer group and older to me, speak to your friends and family about it, and find out from them what they are doing, and try to help them get into it if they are not.
thank you so much for that. And if there are any questions that do come in when we put up this recorded video, I'll definitely share it with you, and if you guys are happy to, you can respond to those queries any which way. We will be responding to all the questions that the viewers might have on this topic. The whole idea here is to see how we can decrease what goes into the landfills as menstrual pads and tampons, and move to more sustainable options like the cloth pads and the cups. Thank you so much, Hina, and thank you so much, Nivu. It was wonderful chatting with you. I, for one, will definitely go back and talk to a lot more people and ask what they're using, and maybe even gift menstrual cups, because if it's in my hand, then I'll probably use it, which is what happened to Hina. Somebody actually bought it for her and gave it to her, and she said, damn, let me use this, and then figured it's so much more simpler when you do. So don't be afraid, use it, and you'll make a huge difference, not only to yourself in terms of comfort, no leakage, cost saving, but you're also making a huge difference to the environment. Thank you so much, everyone. And this is Anita Shankar signing off from Astu Eco and No Plastic July campaign. See you in the next episode. Cheers.